All right. Bella, Hannah, Nina, Nicole. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Welcome, ladies. You ladies are always usually the ones that's on first. I
Because ladies
appreciate
rule.
it. Here we go. Here we
Go,
go.
ladies. Mhm.
Excellent, excellent. Well, ladies, this evening we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. It's five after. Welcome to Virtual Hospitality and Travel Boot Camp Summer 2025. I will be your assistant host today for your incredible professor, Professor Latanya, today. And we're just going to go over a few housekeeping rules so we can hop into this and not belabor any more time. As you know, we say in every class, got to have your student engagement expectations. All right. Attendance, boom, you nailed that as soon as you walked in. Cameras on, boom, you nailed that as soon as you came on. I appreciate you for that. Now, engagement and participation. I know a lot of times you guys aren't so forthcoming, in participating, and sometimes we have to call you on, but I'd like to change that tonight. I'd like you to be a little bit more assertive. So if Professor Tanya asks you some questions, instead of her having to volunteer somebody to answer, I would like you to take some initiative and come off mute and answer the questions. It's going to have a fun night. And most importantly, I want you to grow from this and have a lot of fun while doing it. Okay. And at the end of class, we're going to talk a little bit about your end of course assignments. You should have already received them in the email in a little Word doc, but I'll go into a little bit more detail at the end of this class. It's two. You have two choices. You can either create a travel itinerary with a spreadsheet and do about a 2 to 3 minute presentation, or because you're gonna have some cooking classes later, develop a recipe and create an Instagram, YouTube, TikTok type video of you making, describing, and finishing your recipe. So you'll have both of those opportunities once we get to the end of course. So with that being said, I hope everybody is ready and excited for what's going on today. I'm gonna stop sharing so I can turn it over to Professor Latanya. Take it away.
Hello, ladies. How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good. I'm
Good,
just actually
thank
just
you.
trying to turn my little screen on so that way I know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm having trouble tonight. So just a quick question. Who's gonna do am I allowed to ask who's gonna do what? Which one you're thinking
Of
about doing?
course.
Can everybody see my screen or not?
No. Let me make sure I made you. Yes, you are co-host.
Okay, so why is my screen not sharing now? Hold on.
Welcome to the
Sorry,
life of
ladies.
Zoom.
Sorry, hold on. There we go. So sorry. All righty, here we go. So, ladies, which one are we doing? Which assignment do you think you're going to do? The Instagram one, or are you going to do the travel itinerary? Do you know
I'm
yet?
I'm debating between both. I really like making up my own recipes and stuff, but then I'm also a huge planner, so both of them are like in my wheelhouse, I think. Right now I'm leaning towards making the itinerary just cuz I'm not as great with like video skills. But both
Same
sound like
here,
interesting to me.
as you can see. But you might do great then if you like planning, be an event planner as well.
I used to think that. I used to think that a lot. So with all of my little things, I ended up saying that a resort would be cool because I feel like even then you end up doing like I would force or push myself into like doing like wedding planning or stuff just on occasion if the one was hosted
Mhm.
at my resort and things like that.
Yeah, it's actually a really good feel. Does anyone else know what they're going to do?
I'm leaning more towards the like TikTok video because like I'm not really much of a planner. I kind of just go with the flow. Um, I'm kind of nervous about it though because I do like use TikTok, but not in that sort of way. So I don't know how I'm gonna like really incorporate that, but I'm looking forward
But
to it.
I said, well, I think the cool thing about being a content creator, if that's what that's called when you do stuff on TikTok and things like that too, it's really just you just being creative. because there's just so many ideas of what people have, and people go viral for different types of things, dances, cooking shows, ASMR, those type of things. Just be yourself. That's what I would recommend. Be yourself, and you got it. No matter what you're gonna do. Miss Patel, Miss Naina, do you know? I was just meddling with you guys
Probably
before we started.
planning.
Planning,
Yeah.
travel itinerary. Well, of course, I'm always going to be biased toward that too, since I do work in that field, and I think it's a pretty cool field. So, but planning, event planning, sales, sales coordinator, sales admin, those really are good jobs in the hospitality field. You can really make some good money. It's definitely a Monday through Friday type of job, 8 to 5. Some companies may have you working maybe like a weekend or something like that. But the great thing is you're really able to work with guests and really trying to make their vision come alive. And if you're good at those types of things, being creative, being flexible, being able to think out the box, you'll do great. You'll do wonders with that. So as Professor Dre told you, my name is Latanya Barlow. I am the general manager of the Homewood Suites Louisville East. I've been the general manager there for 2 years. I worked for my hotel company for 24 years, worked in a variety of positions. I've worked from the front desk supervisor, revenue manager, assistant general manager, sales, housekeeping, done a variety of things. Love this hospitality career. Been doing it since I was 16 years old. I went to school with Dre and with Rosie. We have done phenomenal things in the hospitality industry. It's something that I absolutely love doing. Learn telephone etiquette, airport codes, learn how to make reservations, anything that we could think of. It was the great thing about learning the hospitality career. And it is never the same thing every day. And that's so that way, if you don't want to be bored, that is something for you to do. And excuse me for 1 second. I'm sorry, my son is coming through the door and I accidentally locked the door. So sorry. So let's talk about in the hospitality career, how much money can you make? So the average hospitality salary, and I believe everyone may have been from New Jersey. Hello. Sorry, I'm in my living room tonight. So everyone, the average hospitality salary in New Jersey is about $39,000 per year, or about $18.75 per hour. There are entry-level positions that start at about $32,000 per year, while most experienced workers can make up to $85,000 per year. And of course, that does depend on what you want to do, what area that you want to work at, the type of field that you want to go into, but there is a lot of money that could be made in the hotel industry or in the hospitality industry, restaurants, lodging. There's amusement parks, cruises, anything like that. That is actually part of the hospitality industry. So similarly, again, I just wanted, because I believe it was Michael that was speaking that he wanted to be wanted to run a hotel, own a hotel. So I thought, so well, I was going to include this slide in here for him. So in New Jersey and in New York, for instance, too, hotel-related salaries can vary significantly. I actually want to look at this too, but since I'm a general manager, I just want to see how maybe like my salary may compare to others since I'm in Kentucky, where what the salary might be in New York or New Jersey if I ever wanted to move up there. So as a hotel manager, the average salary is about $103,000 per year, with a range from $79,000 to $114,000. Generally, a hotel worker, the average salary is $30,000 per year, with a range from about $24,000, which is pretty much on the low end. So I'm going to say that's probably like a restaurant person or a housekeeper, to about $36,000 a year. While a general hotel salary, it ranges from about $74,000 per year, with the average salary of $54,000. Of course, this always depends on the type of hotel that you work at. Again, the smaller hotels, for instance, like the Holiday Inns, the Comfort Suites, the microtels, those hotel chains may not pay you a lot of money, but also it depends on the hotel company. Not every place that you go to is actually owned by that particular brand. For instance, Hilton. Hilton is not owned by Paris Hilton anymore and their family and all that stuff. It's actually owned by a completely different hotel company group. I'm sure they probably get money still somehow, some way, but Paris Hilton does not own Hilton. Her family doesn't own that anymore. Now, the Marriott family, they actually really still are very heavily involved in that hotel company, and their believe David Marriott actually is still around and still runs that hotel company. So it just really all depends on exactly the hotel company. My company, for instance, we actually do give everybody like a generous salary, but on top of that, we do Christmas bonuses. We pay, we have holiday pay. My CEO, he gives out Kroger gift cards for different holidays, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, just anything like that, just to help reward people and just appreciate people. So I also would tell you in your career, try to work for a company or a place that you find joy and satisfaction from, but also will reward you just by just showing up. Those are the type of great hotel benefits or benefits for working for any type of company. So let's talk about places to stay. So what are the places that you think we can stay at? So, for instance, places to stay. What I was thinking about was some hotel chains. Of course, I'm a Hilton person, so I do have my Homewood Suites up there. But there's the Hilton Garden Inn, there's a DoubleTree, there's a full service Hilton, Embassy Suites, a vacation rental, Airbnb, cruises, or camping. This is like a cabin that's in Gatlinburg, for instance, and I love Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I don't know if anybody's ever been there, but staying at a cabin is pretty fun. Miss Abelli, I said, I don't think you was on Tuesday. Have you ever been to like any of these hotels, anything like that?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Me and my family, we travel a lot for sports and stuff. So we've been at a lot of the different chains.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Can you think of a favorite memory that you may have had when you went anywhere?
A favorite memory. Um, I think some of my favorites might be like just having like quality time with my brothers and stuff because a lot of times we're traveling for their sports. So maybe like swimming at the pool or like for instance we went to it's in Florida and I think it's one of like the little mini Disney resorts, but it's by a chain. Um and like they had like a poolside restaurant and we were swimming in the pool and like we just had a day out there together. So
Mhm.
that was fun. Yeah.
Yes, I too. I love Disney, and I believe I was so jealous. I went to a college called Western Kentucky University. Had an opportunity to work for Disney. I didn't go. I really, I'm really mad about that too. But Dre was able to go and work there, and I was always been jealous that he was working at Disney.
That's so cool.
You never told me you were jealous.
It was like, yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, I wanted to go. Um, there is a place called the Kentucky Castle that is located in Lexington, Kentucky. It's about hour and 15 minutes away from me. So I went there a couple weeks ago for my sister's birthday, and there was something new that they're doing. So I decided to include that tonight because I never do that. So, and of course, I was actually sent the slide too. So, does anyone know what this is?
Glamping?
Thank you, Miss. I had no idea.
Mm,
So that is a new trend. So I don't know if you saw that slide or not. So, but thank you anyway, too. So that is a new trend that I wanted to include because I've never thought about that. Of course, I know there's camping and RVing, you can do all these wonderful things, but this is something new that is the new trend. So has anyone ever done any glamping before?
I haven't done it, but I'm really interested in doing it because I don't really like the whole going out in wilderness and like having to fish and do all that stuff. Like I like the whole glamping idea where you're still in a tent in the outdoors, but you have like room service and people cater to you, kind of like hotel.
Agreed. So I said, I think I can probably handle this more so, like you said, than going out camping because I don't like scary movies and I don't want Jason or someone trying to play that trick on me because that will not be fun for them. So, uh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So, yeah, so as you said, glamping is a luxury camping experience in which campers spend time in semi-indoor locations as opposed to a normal tent or sleeping bag. Glamping typically offers the indoor amenities that regular camping lacks, such as beds, electricity, and indoor plumbing. So definitely can get with that because I like having electricity and I am a city girl, not a country person, and I like having all my amenities. So yeah, that's not a good thing for me. But does anyone want to try glamping other than Miss Alexander?
I
No.
went camping for a school trip in middle school, and it was really, really fun. Like I really, really liked it.
Really, yeah. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, I have to have like a good group of people or something like that to go to. Because I was like, don't know about that one. So we've talked about places where you can stay, but let's talk about how you make these reservations. So you can make reservations, obviously, a variety of ways. Of course, it always is our phone, computer. I mean, our phone is always just one touch away from everything. But I always would recommend, because since I am in the hotel business, make any of your reservations if you can on their direct websites. It's always best rates guaranteed. We do not like having competitor rates on other third-party websites. So go directly on Hilton.com, Marriott.com, Hyatt.com. You will not pay any additional fees. There are these commercials that's out there that always advertising lower rates and things like that. And while yes, some of them might be low, if there are things that happen in a hotel, um, you may not get the best service possible because you didn't make your reservation through that website. For instance, if the hotel is overbooked, the people who tend to get relocated are the people that make reservations through that third party website because they are not a loyal person to our brand. So, a lot of times those are the persons that, if you come in at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and there are no rooms, it's like, so sorry, bye-bye. Now, with the third party websites, do you know any of those? Have you seen any of those commercials that I'm talking about that offers that? Like, for instance, which ones?
Expedia.
Mm-hmm. Expedia.com. Fun fact, they own a lot of websites, and you probably don't think they own all these different websites. So most of those websites are owned by Expedia. You got any other ones?
Kayak is one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kayak, Priceline. See, there's hotels.com. If you go on, for instance, sometimes if you go on the Hilton.com website, be very careful because there's another website that pops up that looks directly like our website. It's called like Reservations Counter. And you book those reservations and you already pay for your room up front, which is not a problem. But if you have to cancel your reservation, a lot of times you can't get your money back because you've already prepaid. So that's why I will always recommend you going directly to the website of that particular chain or hotel, whatever you're doing, because we would tend to work with you a lot more compared to doing those third-party websites. Now, obviously, there's always a way to get out of things, but which we won't say since this is being recorded, but there are times where you can kind of get out stuff. You just have to really work with that third party just to really talk to them and talk to the hotel, try to see exactly what everybody can do. Another option is going through a travel agent. A lot of times they can find some of the best rates by combining hotels, airlines, trains, they can look at a variety of different websites and give you the best rates and give you a package. So that way you're able to make the best decision. Again, this is something where we talked about an itinerary. That's a travel agent. Yeah, that's you just trying to find exactly where someone's going to check in at, check out time, arrival and departure dates, planning exactly where they might be going to a restaurant at. If they actually have to take a cab or Uber or a place like that, travel agents can help assist you with a variety of things. So you just have to kind of ask them. But that's really is a lost art. You don't really see too many travel agents nowadays, as opposed to when I was in school, we actually had a segment besides like hotel management. We had a segment of people who wanted to learn how to be a travel agent. They're not doing that any longer. But again, that actually is a great resource for you to try if you don't know exactly where to start, where to go to, where to get the recommendations at, particularly if you're going to international countries nowadays. Please look at travel bans, exactly what if the United States is saying where you should go to. A travel agent can help tell you what area of the island might be safe. And if you are going to be a solo traveler, being females, being people of color, you always have to sometimes kind of watch out for your surroundings and knowing exactly do your safety measures, who you need to speak with, God forbid if things happen. So just always kind of reach out, like to do your research, go to the websites, talk to travel agents. Something that I have to do as a part of my lodging career, being a general manager, is something I have to explain. And a lot of companies do this. It's called a profit and loss statement. You always have to tell your investors, your owners, how much money that you're going to bring them. That's really the bottom line of anything that you kind of hear. It's always like, it's great that yes, you made a lot of money, but how much is the bottom line? After I paid all of my expenses, all the labor, how much money did I net? How much money do I gain? Similar to like when you're having a paycheck, you can have a gross amount and you have all these taxes taken out and you have your net amount. So a profit and loss statement is very similar. So I actually had my phone call today with my company and explained to them why I did not or why I did make money for the month of May and how I can do better or worse. So it's a phone call that I get every month. It's a great phone call. It's very useful. And it's always something you can learn every day. So this is just an example of a profit and loss statement. So in this column tells you exactly how much money that was made. So for room sales for this particular hotel, we made $484,000 for the month. The reward room sales is that this is what all the Hilton honors, all of that revenue that generated from that. We made $7,000. There's also a thing called no-show revenue. If you don't show up for your hotel, airline, wherever, as we all know, too, there's a cancellation fee. If you don't cancel, it's a no-show. We get money for that. I may or may not decide to give you your money back. Again, depending on where you made your hotel reservations, that may be if you're a Hilton Honors member, if you've been staying in my hotel a long time, there's many different factors if I'm going to actually give you your money back, because when you booked your room, you told us a particular day that you were going to come in. And it's not my fault if you forgot to call and cancel. Obviously, there's emergencies that happen all the time, and we usually work with everybody because things do happen. People do forget. It's human nature, and it's not a problem. Telephone revenue, this negative means that we actually lost money. Internet, you get charged for internet. So we charge all of our guests $9.95 just to use internet if it's not free. Of course, you'd be a Hilton Honors member, it's free. Miscellaneous sales. So this is really just a catch-all really for us. My hotel does pet fees because we are extended stay hotel that houses people that are displaced due to fires, natural disasters. They're there for training. Some people may need to take their pet with them. So we'll charge you a $75 fee if you're there for 1 to 4 nights, or $125 if you're there for 5+ nights. So all that for that month, it was made $745. Vending sales. This is just how much washers and washers we have. Excuse me, we have a washing machine, and you have to pay for that. And so that's our revenue generated. So that's how many quarters we collected for the month, $253. And then the pantry sales. So every time you go downstairs to that gift shop and you're paying money, that is a great hotel revenue generator for us. We love that, particularly when kids come in. Please go to my gift shop. Please spend all that money that mommy and daddy has. So we have pantry sales about $2,000. This column right here, this is the budget, that how much money we were supposed to make. Again, running a hotel is like running your house at home. So this is how much money we were supposed to make. So for the month, they wanted us to make, for instance, $461,000. We made $495,000. Now, again, year to date, this is what this column is, and this is how much money has been made really just for the year to date of this. So again, this hotel made a good profit for the month. The investor should be happy. Now, that's how much money that was made. Now, we also had to spend money. As I told you the other night, there are invoices and things like that that I have to pay. For instance, like the guest supply, the coffee cups, the coffee, the food, all of that has a budget that's associated with it. So, for instance, $612 was spent on textiles, which that's linen, that's towels, that's the sheets, the pillowcases. $612 was spent on that. $960 was spent on the hotel supplies. That is your everything that goes into the room. There's a cost associated with that. Of course, people do steal things, and that's fine. That's why there's a budget for it. But the hotel supplies are the trash bags, the soap, the conditioner, the lotion, all those items. Those are part of your hotel supplies. My hotel has a hotel supplies kitchen line. That's everything that will be the coffee that we will serve, the china, the glasses, the silverware. That is all in my hotel supplies kitchen because I have to supply pots and pans to my extended stay guests. Again, we have the cleaning supplies. We have laundry supplies. I have food costs that we have to do. I serve our guests a welcome home reception on Wednesday nights, and that is something that is complimentary to the guests, but I have to buy food for that. So that's about $3,500 for the month. So I also have to buy everything for the pantry for my gift shop. So that's about $1,300 a month. So all of that, the total purchases for the month, I spent $17,000. Unfortunately, the budget was $12,000. So early in the slide, I had made about $12,000 or $13,000 extra for the month. You see now all that's ate up right down here because of all the things I had to spend in order to make the money. So real quick, before we kind of start going to a break, I got a couple questions to ask you. If all the ladies are still on the phone, I have a couple questions to ask. What's the difference between a hotel and a motel?
Is a hotel like normally for a longer stay and then it's normally like high quality and a little bit more expensive or higher quality?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you answer. Kind of. Anyone else want to take a guess?
A motel is outside, a hotel is inside.
That is correct. That is actually what that is. So, and hello, sir. What's your name? I just see iPhone 13.
Harlem?
Harlem?
Yes.
Hello, Harlem. How are you?
Good.
We're good. So Harlem is absolutely right. That is the difference between a hotel and motel. Hotel, you go inside of the establishment, and motel is one of those that you drive up to. And to your point, Ms. Everly, what you were speaking of are really the mid-scale, focus service, select service. That's more what you're doing because there are different types of brands, different price points that people pay. So a Hampton Inn might be like a smaller focus service, for instance. I have a focus service because I have like a 100-room property. There is like a Waldorf Astoria, for instance, which would be like a full service 5-star hotel. So there are the different types of stars, different type of brands within these different things that we're speaking of. So, but that actually was a good thought. So real quick, how many flights, and this is data was based on like about a year or two ago, but how many flights you think are flown per day in the United States? There's still no wrong or right answer on this one, but I just kind of Googled this a few years ago. So, I mean, you think?
Nicole, what do you think?
Probably around 100.
100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, it's good.
Like 5-ish, 100 about.
But that's
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
2 million. How about that?
Actually, I was thinking about like a million, something like that too, because there are a lot of airplanes there too. So about 44,000 flights are flown in the United States per year. A lot of flights
Per day.
per day. So unfortunately, while there are a lot of while there have been some incidents recently, and unfortunately there was one that was today in India where there was a plane crash. But generally, it really is still safer to fly than it is to drive. And as you can see, although we may hear about one or two instances which are horrible, horrible, but still, out of those one or two, statistically speaking, there's still more flights that you don't even hear about at all, compared to as many accidents and things like that by driving that you may hear about. But it is still a very safe place to fly. I probably personally will not be flying though anytime soon. But again, if you want to, please do so. So this is really the generation right now where everyone's talking about AI, Chat GPT, and all those great things, which I've actually just really started using myself. I thought it was pretty cool. I actually had to use that for a menu. I never thought about doing that at all. So do you believe AI has an operational benefit for hospitality? Why or why not?
Sorry, you're gonna have to ignore my baby brother in the background. But last summer, I went to Japan for my birthday, and the hotel we stayed at, which is called like the Appa Hotel, so it's like their really big hotel chain over there.
Oh,
It had for like the concierge service, it had like completely like all AI except for like a couple people in the back, like in case you needed assistance. And I think it was really seamless. Me and my sister went, and she was like, "This is like the quickest it's ever taken me." Sorry, ignore him. It's like the quickest it's ever taken us to like get checked in and all of that. And although I think it poses a little bit as a threat because it can serve to like take a couple people's jobs away, I think at the same time, seeing it like did provide us at least a little bit of comfort knowing that like some people still work there, and if you did want that like to work with a person, we had that option. But honestly, I thought it was really cool. So I think that it makes things easier on you, and it's more so like a self-service type of thing. Because even if you think about it, like at a grocery store, like you have like, and obviously it's not AI, but like you have a self-checkout rather than going
yeah,
up. So I feel like those two options could be nice.
that's a good point. Yeah, I never thought about self-scan or being AI. That's a great point there. It's a great observation. Anyone else like AI? The benefits of it or not? I think it was something cool that you really said too, because really depending on where you are and what's going on, like I think it probably can replace jobs, but as long as there are still people there that's still able to help and assist, I think it's a good thing. But I also think it also depends on the industry, because you cannot put a cost on what I believe is human interaction at times, because computers, AI kind of takes that emotion out of things. And then I always think about what happens if it breaks, because unfortunately things do break down. But prior hotel management news, it can help with revenue management, guest services, reservations, and also smart devices. I actually think too, visiting Japan, I think seeing exactly what they do over there and how they do with technology, I think they really are on the great cusp of this advancement of AI. So real quick, it is 7:09. Do you want to take a 10-minute break?
Sounds good to me.
Mhm. So see you 7:20.
Some of them are already logged off. Yes, 7:20.
Mhm. Hey, welcome back. So I decided to look AI too. I changed my background. I'm now at the beach. Says everybody back. Says here. As I
Yeah, I
think
think
everybody is back then. All right. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. We just got just a few more slides left, and then I'll be able to let you guys go. And I really appreciate you joining me tonight. I'm not really a teacher. I just enjoy just doing this. So I just really appreciate everybody just, being attentive and all that great stuff. So again, on Tuesday night, we was talking about the economy and tariffs and things like that and types of natural disasters and really what affects our hospitality. So I just wanted to kind of continue talking about that just a little bit because the hospitality industry, of course, is affected by the economy. It's like all the other segments and sectors of the world, but we really are directly affected. I don't think people realize that if people will lose jobs or if travel is down, we really are affected. Like I said, I live in Kentucky, and I think everyone said they live in New Jersey, maybe. But when, like for the holidays, there's not a lot of people that come to Kentucky for during Christmas time, unless they really are visiting family. So for me, doing different types of seasons, like they really is slow for me. While maybe people will go to New York because it's Christmas and New Year's Eve, and they get to go to Rockefeller Center and do all their great stuff. So again, different parts of the world in different sectors, everyone is directly affected by the economy and the season and what is going on. So let's just talk about a little bit of, for instance, like inflation. So, we have tariffs, we're going to have a recession probably pretty soon. Again, in my own personal opinion, has nothing to do with no facts or anything like that. But, that's what I think. But inflation is really something that, when things are going up, it really does affect everything. It's going to affect really what you're able to do in your own life. If you're able to go out and spend and do things with your friends or family, it's a cost to it. So for me specifically, there's an operational cost, there's a labor cost, and also guest expectations. Really, I always think of our leisure travelers. Those are persons who may be like you. You're traveling sports teams with your family, got to be, funerals, there's marriages, there are lots of different reasons why people may travel. And the guest expectations, in my opinion, we all say since COVID has really rose because people don't really have a lot of money to spend. And the expectations is at such a high level that sometimes it's kind of hard to help them to ensure that they're really getting all the bang for their buck, as I want to say. But the expectations of a guest really is at a high time level because you want to rise to the occasion. As I said, I'm ranked number 21 out of 543 Homewood hotels. So on my street, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 other hotels on my street. So if I do not do something that the guests may like, if it's a cleanliness issue, it's a food issue, if one of my staff members, one of my team members says anything, does anything they shouldn't do, a guest can check out of my hotel and there are 6 other hotels they can go to. So we always have to stay competitive and make sure that we're doing all the right things at all the right time. And as my CEO says, just always just do the right thing. Other things that might affect travel, as we said the other day, climate change. If it's too hot, I was talking to Dre the other day and I was saying I want to go to Texas. And he was saying that it was like it's extremely hot during that time. And, right now in my area, I have this very hot, humid, that's been flooding. I think that's maybe a part of climate change, but people may not be traveling right now. to my area because it's maybe too hot. I have a whole lot of cicadas. It's right outside my hotel door. It's just all these buzzes making all this noise that come about. It's supposed to be every 17 years, but for the last few years, we've been really getting them. So, people may not want to come stay at me because it's a lot of noise that's going on. As I said the other day, natural disasters, um, budgeting costs, also positive and negative reviews of a business. When you go places, I'm sure that you also look at if people's going to give you great service. So there's always great positive things, but can you guys think of something that you went to that you're going to give it a negative review that you won't ever go back to again? Do you have one, Ms. Nicole? A negative experience that you may have had at an establishment? Ms. Naima, you hear me?
Nobody's had a negative experience at a restaurant or an establishment or a hotel, grocery store.
I've had
All right.
some. They had like insects in our room,
Oh gosh.
and
What did
that,
they do to rectify that?
and then we just changed the entire hotel like overnight.
Exactly. See that right there. Did they offer you any type of discounts to try to move your room, anything like that that you know of?
Yeah, they were going to tell us, but then our tour guide was like, "No, we're not staying here anymore," because there were like 5 of our rooms had like cockroaches and stuff. So we were like, "Nope," we just
Yeah.
moved.
And just think about that. So you was there with the tour with a lot of people, and you're probably not going to ever go back to that place ever again, even in your own personal travels, because you're going to always remember that now. And
Yeah,
then
I
you're going
still
to,
want to go though.
what'd you say?
I still want to go there.
Do you want to stay at that particular hotel?
No,
Right.
different
But you
hotel.
want to go to that place where you were at, right?
Yeah.
And see, and that's the thing, that is so hard to recover from an establishment for something like that. Maybe it's something out of their control, don't really know. Because tends to be places where you go into, like in Florida, I went to, there are some bugs and things like that they're just there. But you're not going to tell everybody about that whenever you travel, whenever someone wants to go. Where'd you go?
Thailand.
Thailand. And see, and when you go and somebody else is going to say, like, I'm going to go visit Thailand, you're going to probably say, don't go stay at so and so.
Yeah.
Because when I went there, this is what happened. See, you can. It's so hard to recover from that. That was a good one. Does anyone else have anything?
There
What
was,
about, oh, go ahead, Nicole. I'm so sorry.
it's okay. There was a time where me and my family we went to China and there was this like store that was trying to scam my family because my sister wanted 3 shirts and they just kept changing the price. So
See, mm-mm. And again, you're not gonna go back to that store ever again. And then you could, leave reviews and all that type of stuff. Right now we have Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and things like that. Like at a click of a button, you can go ahead and go online and give somebody a review, or you can make a video about it. And right then and there, business is going to be lost. So it's very important that whatever that you're doing, whatever business that you're going to get into, really try to do it your best and give it your all. Again, mistakes are going to happen, but as long as you really apologize and really try to make sure that the person's not going to be affected again. Other things that affect travel are flight delays. Currently, you always hear, or you may hear on the news that like Memorial Day or 4th of July, Christmas, there tends to be a lot of flight delays. So they may tell you take an earlier flight, go the day before, something like that. So again, you may not want to travel on that particular airline again. Or, you may want to try a different type of airline because, maybe American Airlines wasn't doing good. So you want to try Delta or you want to try Southwest, or vice versa. So this really all depends. So this is a quick video about unruly passengers. That's something that we're actually hearing about a lot right now is that people tend to go on these airlines and for a variety of reasons, I don't really know that they're starting to do a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing. So you hear a lot of flight attendants, pilots just doing things just to try to make sure the rest of the passengers are okay with their safety. So this is just a quick 2-minute video.
At Penn Station, your ears may hear, and your craving hears.
Penn Station's cheesesteak, fresh grilled to
La, 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 la. Okay. So this person is traveling from Kentucky to North Carolina.
Asks him to take a seat.
That's what you missed.
He sits on the armrest, but quickly gets up and tailgates her up the aisle.
No, really. Go.
He continues to be antagonistic, coaxing other passengers to join his one-man protest against sitting. When he doesn't get any takers, he decides to go it alone.
Move. Take a seat. Move. Take a seat. Move. Take a seat. Move. I said take a seat, sir. I don't want to take a seat. I don't care what you want to do. You're going to take a seat right now.
When confronted by the pilots, he becomes even more brazen. He is not backing down.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to let me by. Sir? But I'm going to get by. Sir, without you or his permission. Why? Why are you closing my exit? I'm trying to help you. They're not listening. No, please drop your arms. Please.
Do you mind just sitting down? Really?
No, I don't. Sir, I'm trying to do. Sit down. Sit down. Enough. You don't put your hands on my fighting. Enough. Yep. You hear me? Yep.
When we roll this back for another look, we see the
So
man trying to run
what would you do if you was on an airline and you see that happening? Because more and more people are doing things like that. And I don't know if they're trying to do it for clickbait, just to be on the internet or what, but there's a lot of unruly passengers right now for, again, mental illness is really at an all-time high. You know, it could be, drinking, it could just be cabin fever, who knows? So just, again, be very careful, be very vigilant whenever you're out traveling and you're just doing things. So that way you may run into something like that. And just kind of think about really what would you do? So the latest figures, and I cannot read some of that, so please excuse me for a second. I got to move all that. So the latest figures show that was one only incident reported for every 568 flights, and this was back in 2002, up from 835 flights from 2021. So let's think about how many there might be now in 2025. Or we just say in 2024. The common incidents were noncompliance, verbal abuse, and intoxication. Physical abuse incidents remain very rare, but these had an alarming increase of 61%, occurring once every 17,000 flights. Although non-compliance incidents initially failed, the maximum index were removed because, again, people were really, it was a lot harder, in COVID and things like that. But the most common examples, again, of non-compliance is like smoking of cigarettes, e-cigarettes, vapes, puff devices. Who really wants to do all that in an airplane? And why are they doing that? It's like, come on now. Failure to fasten seatbelts when instructed. It's seeing the carry-on baggage allowance or consumption of alcohol on board. Again, people know what the rules are, but they tend to do things anyway. And so someone always has to be the person to tell them no. So just being an unruly passenger nowadays, it really does affect all the passenger, affects your airlines, this negative guest experience, all that really roll into one. So if someone's telling you something, just do it, please. So real quick, and again, we're almost finished too. So revenue management is, we learned about that. It's really great with AI. So revenue management is really the use of data analytics to optimize sales. I use revenue management every day. And for instance, the revenue management really is just trying to figure out the best rates for the best day at any given time. I want to try to maximize my rates. I want to try to get as many special corporate negotiated rates. For instance, I have a company right behind us called Churchill Downs. I want to try to make sure I give them the best rate while also giving another company who's going to give me business, for instance, like a Trilogy I want to give them a great rate. I want to get the groups in there, like Miss Evelyn here. She wants to be I'm already claiming that for you. You know, it's going to go work in sales or something like that too. I want to make sure that as a director of sales, that she has all the rooms that she may need. So here is just a quick little thing that we have to do on a daily, that I really do have to do. So you are a 100-room property and you have 3 groups inquiring about reservations. One group is arriving on a Monday and departing on a Friday, and their room rate is $139. The other group wants to arrive on a Sunday and depart on a Tuesday, and the rate is $169. The last group wants to arrive on a Tuesday and depart on a Thursday, and the rate is $149. Now, the first group is going to be 100. It's going to be only 30 rooms they want to get. Group number 2, they want to get 50 rooms. And group number 3, that's arriving on a Tuesday and Thursday, they want to get 70 rooms. Again, you're a 100-room property, and you already have 40 rooms on the books. So, you already have 40 reservations already reserved. Which group do you think you want to take and why?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And again, really, this really is not a right or wrong answer. Being revenue management is really, it's a science. It's something that you like, really just try anything. But these are things that honestly I'm faced with every day of what to take.
Hannah, Nicole, Nina,
Nicole,
anybody
anybody
have a
want to take a
guess?
guess?
I would say either group 1 or group 2. So you're not going to be able to accommodate group 3 anyway, just because then you'd be at 110 and that's over capacity. And then I was doing the math, and group 1 will technically make you more money, I think by like $5 a night or something of that sort. And group 2 will make you less, but then you're like closer to capacity. I would say group 1 because even still, I guess you could still book out more rooms whilst making more money each day, but I don't know if that's right.
No, there's nothing wrong with an answer. No, you're totally fine. But these are things too that if you're working in sales and you have a general manager who, like, you may have someone call you for a piece of business, and you may have to go talk to your general manager and say, hey, this group that's called, which group should we take? And so these are conversations that I do have. I actually had one today with my sales manager. Ms. Nicole, Ms. Naima, anybody you want to take a guess of which group you would take?
Um, I don't know.
And see, like Emily said, so if you already have 40 rooms on the books, that's why I said it's not a right or wrong answer at all. So if you already have 40 rooms on the books, and so if you take that group 3, for instance, like she said too, you already be oversold. So, you really don't want to take that. But here's the thing too. You can always be oversold because people do cancel. For instance, airlines, if you think about that, when people, they always like, hey, does anyone want to volunteer by getting moved to go to another flight? Because they got overbooked, because everyone decided to show up. But there are times where you just take a gander, you just take a guess. Let's roll the dice. Let's see, we could take all these rooms and see if everybody's going to show up. And if they do, darn it, because then you're going to have to relocate 10 people. But if they don't, at least you got cancellations and you were sold out anyway. For instance, like if you used to take group 1, then you already have 40 rooms on the books, so you're going to take group 1, so that'd be like 30 additional rooms. So then you'll have, it'd be 70, you have 30 rooms left to sell. Good thing about that is that you have shrunk your hotel down from being a 100-room property to being 70 rooms. So then you have about 30 rooms left that you can sell at a premium rate. So, if you already have 40 rooms, so say that 30 rooms right there. And so you're going to get sold out. You're going to get rooms Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you get that every day at a good rate of $139. So that'll be $139 times 30. That's what we do. And then we do like that times 5, or times 4, because it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you get a group for 4 nights at 139 with that rate too. That's really a good rate. And then you still shrunk your hotel down. So then you can charge the remaining people that remaining guests are coming in 179, 189, 199, because you only have those 30 rooms left to sell. That's the supply and demand. The same thing if you was to take their group 50, the group number 2. So again, you have 90 rooms you've already sold. So then really those last 10 rooms, you really can't sell at a good premium rate. And particularly if there's a convention that's around, like we have a Bourbon Beyond, we have Louder Than Life, and these are 2 like heavy metal conventions that happen in September. I would take something like that all day long, and then I'll have to sell it to like the regular people, a regular, some corporate guests. I could sell it to a group, and I could be sold out. There's also like a Kentucky Derby, it's the first weekend of May. If I can already sell 90 rooms to a group, that's half my inventory. I don't have to worry about it. I had just 10 rooms left to sell. Hopefully that's enough demand in the area. I can sell those last 10 rooms at a good premium rate. So it just really all depends on the time, the month, what's going on in the area, the economy, things like that. So again, this is a situation that I do deal with on a daily basis. So we still got maybe about like 5 or 10 more minutes. I know you have to do like a little class wrap up. Does anybody have any questions? Guys are kind of quiet tonight.
No
Did we make up our
questions?
mind that what we're gonna do? Did this kind of help you do more of a travel itinerary or more of a video?
Well, they haven't had the chance to get to the cooking classes yet.
Oh, okay.
So those
Okay.
come
Well, that
after
should
your
be fun.
classes. Because they'll probably, most of the time, the students make a decision after they take the live class, because everybody knows that you will need to be in your kitchen for the last 2 classes of the summer program. So be prepared. You're going to get a list of ingredients that you're going to need. Very simple list of ingredients, not a hard recipe at all. We're going to go through some very basic culinary things that you'll need to know. So be prepared for that. And we'll be talking about that here in a minute. We'll talk about the end of course. But careers in lodging, right? Um, anybody interested? Anybody more interested in hotels and lodging after today? I know my boy Prince, he wasn't able to make it today. He was at a sports banquet, but is anybody's interest more intrigued when it comes to dealing with the lodging industry, especially with glamping? Glamping is new. I've glamped before. Absolutely fabulous. It's perfect for a city boy. If you're not a country person, I mean, you got running water, refrigerator, electricity, to plug up your phone. Glamping was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So I was like,
Anybody
yeah.
interested? Nobody?
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
What do you want to do? Have you thought about any careers?
Nicole, how about you?
I'm not completely sure. I was thinking of like becoming a real estate agent, but I don't know. I was like nodding my head before. I think after this lesson, I am like a little more interested in like like I forgot the name of this topic. But like
Hotels, lodging?
yeah.
Yeah.
After this class, yeah, I am a little more interested. I'm not sure if I'll be interested in glamping. I'm not really I don't really like outside that much.
Me, you go. Yeah, the great thing, is what I say I really do like about the hospitality industry is, it's hotels, motels, it's amusement parks, it's restaurants, it's the visitors bureau, Busch Gardens, like all of these things that people really don't even think about. It's like it's really a part of a hospitality. It's really opening yourself up to other people. It's really just having that spirit to serve. And it really is fun. And it's a great career if you're young, if you want to travel, do all those great things. That's something that we call like a QA inspector. It's a quality analysis, I believe, auditor. And they grade our hotels, you know, what Hilton want us to do. And so they travel around. You know, there's people that QA auditors are, you know, traveling to grocery stores. You know, you want to make sure all your products are good and fresh, you know. So it's a really, you know, great option. I would say too, if you're young, go ahead and travel. Find a good career, you can travel and make some money. The hospitality industry is a great avenue to do that because you can really move up very fast. I think I was at my front desk job for like about a year, 2 years. And then I moved positions about every 2 years after that. Now I moved around. I've worked at all of my hotels that my company owns. And we own Courtyard Marriott, Hilton Garden Inn, a full service Marriott, full service Hilton, a Homewood, an Embassy. I've had the opportunity to work at all those places. And again, the hotel discounts are great.
Awesome.
Mm.
Hannah, how about you? What do you want to do?
Well, I want to explore veterinary medicine because I really like love animals and I want to get into that more. And I really like glamping too. I've been wanting to get into that as well.
You'll love it. I had a ball. I had a ball.
But what
Especially
was
if you find
the
one of those
pet
camps.
that attacked you while you was on screen?
That was that was my bulldog.
Is that a French bulldog? Those
No,
English.
it's an American Bully XL.
Okay, because I'm still
Ooh.
learning about that.
That is a nice dog. My one of my daughters is into dogs. And so she got me into it. An American Bully. Boy, it's a good dog. Ebele.
Yes. This definitely did get me more interested. Like I said earlier, sorry, ignore my brother. Like I said earlier, one of the like routes I want to go down on is opening my own resort. And then glamping I've already done and I loved it. So I would love to do it again. That would be fun. The outdoor aspect of it was not completely my favorite, but outside of that, it was a nice way to grow my relationship with nature. So yeah.
Very nice. Yes, hug a tree. Walk in the grass barefoot. You'd be surprised the energy that the naturalties of Earth will give you. So I encourage everybody, go hug a tree. I know you probably look at me, Chef, you're not a tree hugger. Not really. But I have done
They
it,
have
and
ants.
the energy is true. Right? And walking in the grass barefoot, it's rejuvenating. It really is. The ions that are naturally in the earth, it gives a certain connection with the body that's incredible. That's incredible. So I encourage everybody. So all
Trees
right.
have ants.
You just gotta watch the ants. You just gotta watch the ants. They got sprays for that. It's okay. All right. Well, we are at the end of class, and I'm going to share with you guys.
Thank you,
Professor, you know what,
everybody.
Professor Latanya, you have anything else you want to add before I share my screen and talk to them about the end of course?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be with you for this hour and a half. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully I see you again next year.
Or maybe you'll come on one of these internships with us.
And then I get to see you in person. Yes.
Yeah.
I get to say like, yeah, hello, everybody.
Outstanding. Outstanding. All right. Let's see. We're still recorded. Perfect. Everybody can see my screen? So you have this in your email. It's attached on every email when you get sent the reminders about class, right? So I want you to take some time to read it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I want you to take some time to read it. It's attached to your email so you can get a good description and understanding of the end of course final, because you will be presenting this. Much like in the B&E, if you took the B&E course, you know, at the end, you'll have an opportunity to present this. So look at it in the same way. And if you haven't been in the business and entrepreneurship program, which I think all of you have, but if you haven't, you will be presenting this presentation to myself, Dr. Kennedy, and a few of the other board members. So put your best work forward. So you're going to plan a dream vacation, okay? Develop your skills in planning a dream vacation and apply the knowledge that you've had from this course. So you'll pick a destination, you pick a duration in the trials, you'll set a budget, flights, transportation, accommodations, itinerary, where you're going to go, what you're going to see, why you're going there, safety things, because like for instance, some of you I know are a part of this Costa Rica trip. You know, there's some safety and health things that we have to deal with, like going to see your doctor. They recommend any additional shots. Is there any other health things that you have to get insurance to cover you while you're down in Costa Rica? So it's important when you're planning your trip to know these different things. All right. And then project number 2 is a food dish creation and a social media post. So what you're going to do is I would say you can create an original dish or you can use a dish that someone else has already done and modify it for your own personality. And the food categories vary. You know, it could be an appetizer, main course, dessert, but I need to see that, you know, that you cooked it, that you prepared it, and you put it in about a 1 minute Instagram, Facebook, TikTok type video. I know TikTok is now up to an hour worth of video content that you can put up. We only need about a minute to about 2 minutes. So you may have to film the whole thing and cut and paste it. We have some examples also in the email from previous students that did it, but it's absolutely fun. Do your research and your development for it. Explain the cooking process. Planning the presentation is important, and your social media posts. Now, you don't have to post it on your social media if you don't want to. I would suggest you do, because likes get paid these days. There's a lot of content creators out there that are making incredible money just from posting content. So I encourage it, especially for your generation. But you create that 1 minute post, introduce yourself and the dish and key, and then reflect on the experience in the post. And then you submit it. So make sure that you go read it for yourself when you go to the email and read it. But I just wanted that I explained that to you, that you guys definitely knew that, and so that you'll be fully aware and understanding of the end of course. Cool. Any questions? No? Excellent. All right. So
Oh
I'm
yes, sorry,
yes.
yes. I haven't like received any other email outside of the original orientation ones. Like I've been using that link from the orientation for all of these. So like I don't have any of the other updates and things like that. So that final assignment, I don't have that either.
Okay. Anybody else have that problem? Because I can make sure we can fix that this evening. Yes, Miss E, I will take care of that this evening.
Thank you.
Okay. And as always, we're going to have you guys fill out the course evaluation. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. And so you got 2 tonight. Okay. This first one is going to be the evaluation of the course today. Okay. I think it's about 10 questions. I'm putting it in the chat. So this one is the lodging and careers of eval. So if you would take about 2 minutes to fill that out for me. And then once you finish filling that out, you can just put a 1 in the chat, and then I'll give you the other link. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Miss E. Excellent. Okay, and so this next one that I'm putting in here is a few questions that's going to ask you about what you've learned in hospitality, lodging, and careers. It's a brief quiz. And if you guys would be so kind as to fill that out, and once you finish that, put a 1 in the chat, and you're able to log off.